It is Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. Look who wanted to come and say hi today. Nugget. So many of you ask to see Nugget. She's doing great. Mimi's doing great. The cat's doing great. The turtles are doing great. The family's doing great. Thanks for asking. But everybody seems to always want to know how Nugget is doing. She's doing absolutely phenomenal. Love this dog to death. She's got a great life. But we have a lot to talk about today, and I know that some creep out there will say, why are you showing animals on your channel? I want to hear about business. Well, I show animals on my channel because I love animals, especially dogs, and it's my channel, and I can do whatever I want to do. So stay tuned. We have a lot to talk about today, a lot happening. So I want to start with this first article today. Many of you have probably already seen this in the news or heard about it. UPS announces 12,000 job cuts, says package volume slipped last quarter. UPS stock today was down 8.2%. Company announced the layoffs as part of an effort to align resources. They are cutting the fat, ladies and gentlemen. The workforce reductions will save the company about $1 billion in costs. UPS reported drops in shipping volume both domestically and internationally. Look, when you're paying drivers $150,000, you got to figure out a way to do it, right? So they had to sacrifice a lot of jobs. So with business slowing down, labor costs, inflation, fuel prices are climbing. I think oil was up today, if I'm correct. I think we're getting pretty close to $80 a barrel. This is going to have huge implications on these shipping companies like UPS and FedEx and all of your big freight shippers overseas, the cargo ships and what have you. So look to see as more disruption plays out in the Middle East. It's only a matter of time before oil prices really begin to surge. And we are going to at some point see oil at $100 a barrel without a doubt. But interesting with this job cut over at UPS. I mean, think about when you're paying drivers $150,000 a year and you have a slowdown in business, what do you think is going to happen? There's a price to pay here. And I'm glad that people are making money, and I hope everybody makes money. But, you know, when you're paying UPS drivers $150,000 a year, somebody has got to pay the price. And it looks like it's going to be a lot of workers. And this isn't over. This is not over because this economy is continuing to slow down. There's this misconception where we're hearing so much on the news that the economy is doing well. Just look at the stock market. It's doing great. And this is just a reflection of this booming economy. Couldn't be further from the truth. There is no connection. There is no relation between the stock market and the U.S. economy. PayPal will cut about 2,500 jobs, or 9% of global workforce. They're driving, they call it driving towards more efficiency. More jobs are going to be replaced by AI. So they're going to need less humans. But look, things are slowing down. And this is another example. When people aren't shipping as much, they're not using FedEx, they're not using UPS as much, right? When Amazon's not selling as much, when people aren't buying enough stuff online, it's going to slow down. And what happens when people aren't doing enough transactions? Well, PayPal slows down, and they're going to have to let people off because they've got to become more efficient. Here's another one on CNBC. The Fed will cut rates fewer times and start them later than market hopes, according to CNBC Fed survey. Only 9% in the survey. In this CNBC survey, see a rate cut in March. I don't think it's going to happen. I've said that for a long time. Futures markets have priced in 5 to 6 rate cuts this year. I would say plan to see 3 max. I would say it's going to be between 2 and 3. I don't see how they can do it. If they do it, they are going to cause a lot more inflation. We're not near the 2% goal of inflation. The economy is according to the official data, the economy is booming. It's doing great. You're looking at less people filing jobless claims week over week. You've got literally record low unemployment. This is the official data. We know that we can't believe that. The consumer is strong. The consumer is spending because they have credit cards. But the Fed is just going to look at the bottom line here and say everything looks pretty good. So how do they justify cutting rates? I don't see it. And of course, you have home prices still sitting way too high, but nothing is selling. TheEconomicCollapse.com. Homelessness in the U.S. is up 48% since 2015, and Americans are being laid off in droves. So just looking at the news today with PayPal, UPS, and so many other companies laying off, and we're not even talking about small businesses and how many people they're laying off and the impact this is having on the real economy. But it's going to get much, much worse. And as I've said years ago, you're going to know people who get so desperate that they're going to be homeless and they're coming to your house knocking on your door for help. We are going to see a tsunami of layoffs. The layoffs have just begun. You need to be preparing that if you or a spouse loses a job, that you're going to be able to survive. This is the time that if you can lower your standard of living, if you can get rid of the debt, if you can live below your means, this is what you have to be doing right now, because if the worst case scenario hits and somebody in your household loses a job, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. If you have a lot of debt, if you're living beyond your means, you know, both of you have a $8, $9, or $1,000 car payment and a $3,000 mortgage and student loan debt, this is going to be absolutely impossible to sustain. So this is the time now to be making serious choices. This is the time right now to be adjusting your lifestyle and living below your means. It's the only way you're going to be able to survive this. But you are going to know people who don't listen to this, that are going to go homeless. They're living way beyond their means. They think that they'll never lose a job, their spouse will never lose a job, that the economy will never slow down, that they believe inflation is going to come down, that the Fed is going to fix this. And you have to ask yourself, do you really think the Fed can fix this when they're the ones that caused this? This is just beginning. I don't think people understand how bad this is going to get because most people have never lived through a really tough time, and they're about to, and they're not prepared for it. But I do believe, and I've said this years ago, that you're going to have people knocking at your door, people you don't know and people you do know, asking for help. And it's up to you what you're going to do. But a lot of people used to laugh at this and thought it was just, wow, that's really crazy. That's extreme. There's no way that could happen. Well, we're already seeing it happen in New York City, where immigrants are going into the neighborhoods and they're knocking on doors asking for food and money. It's a matter of time before it's your friends knocking at your door for food and money. So, you know, it's unbelievable to sit here and talk about these things, because I never thought back in the day that it would have ever gotten this bad, that we would have ever reached this point, that we would be talking about people going homeless that we know, people that we know knocking at our doors for help, for food, for money, for shelter, for security, protection. But here we are, we're talking about it right now because it's already begun. And again, you're going to have to make some serious decisions here, because when you let those people in, they can become a liability. They're going to eat your calories. They're going to drink your water. You have to think about this, that the more mouths you have to feed, the less calories you have to feed yourself and your family. And unfortunately, you know, too many people have already reached out to me over the last year and a half, telling me that back then, a year and a half ago, people were already reaching out to these individuals, asking them for money, asking them for help. And this just tells you and I that it's already too late for millions of people. And I hate to say that. I mean, the only word of advice I can give to people who are in a really bad situation right now is you got to be saying your prayers, because you're going to need a miracle. And I do believe miracles are possible, but you need to be saying your prayers. I'm proud of the people who started preparing years ago, because you put the odds in your favor to survive this. And I know somebody's going to reach out and comment and say, that's not very Christian-like, you know, not letting people into your house and feeding them and saying it's too late for millions of people. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not anybody's therapist. I'm a realist. I'm just here to tell you the truth. And I'm sitting here just connecting the dots, like many of you have already done. Many of you are very, very bright. You're more prepared than I am. You're brighter than I am. But I'm not sitting here acting as anybody's therapist. And I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm just going to tell people the bold truth from what I see. It's too late for millions of people already. Why is that? Because they're flat broke, and it costs money to put food away, water away, to have another shelter to get to have an extra vehicle, to have the emergency foods, to have the security, to have the training, to have the skill sets. This all costs money. And a lot of people watching this video cut out a lot of things in their lives over the past couple years, made huge sacrifices like I did. And we did this because we knew what was coming. And so for the people that make the sacrifices, they're probably going to survive and more than likely be rewarded and prosper with the sales that are coming on top of this collapse. So again, I feel bad for the millions of people who didn't prepare, but again, everybody has free will. Everybody has a choice, and many people chose to just go out, have fun, and act like nothing was happening, and that's what people will continue to do. They will continue to watch the football games, they will continue to go to Taylor Swift concerts, they're going to continue to watch their Netflix and ignore reality. But here's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. At some point, reality will no longer be ignored because reality will be at your door. And so prepare the best that you can, and let me just reiterate this. You don't have to be a millionaire to prepare. You just have to make some sacrifices. You cut out going out to the bars on Friday, Saturday night. You cut out taking the Vegas trip. You cut out going out to dinner or going out to lunch every day. You got to make some sacrifices somewhere. And if you do that, it's amazing. Maybe you can save 50, 75 or $100 a week, and you can start putting that away for food. You can put that away right now for some food, some water, and at least begin making a dent in some preparations. You're far behind, but if you have the means, I would be loading up so much right now on food, on water, on the essentials, and of course, number one, security. New York Post. New York considering relaxing work qualifications for thousands of jobs to hire migrants. Comment down below. How do you feel about this? So while people are struggling, while many don't even want to work in this country, your replacements are here. Your new job replacements are here. So for the people out there with all this student loan debt who've done nothing for the past 3 years because they were just hoping that the debt would be taken care of and disappear, that we would all pay for it. And so 9 million jobs out there, and none of these people for the last 3.5 years decided to go out and work a couple of these jobs and pay their debt down because they all hoped that this administration, with our help and our tax-paying money, would pay for this. Well, it didn't quite work out that way. And now these people still don't want to work. They're angry. And so it looks like your replacements may be here. So comment down below. What do you think about this? New York relaxing work qualifications to let people come in and take on these jobs. Very, very interesting. Wolfstreet.com. Treasury Department trying very hard to push down yields with its quarterly refunding announcements. The 10-year today, 4.036. They are pushing it down without a doubt. My question is, who is buying up the bond market? And I think you all know the answer at this point. Of course, it's the Fed. Who else would buy this garbage? It's the Fed buying this. So again, it's more manipulation of these markets. When you have the Fed in here buying up the bond market, be cautious. Everything sounds good. Markets look great. The euphoria has kicked back in and everything looks dandy. But underneath the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen, the real world, the real economy here is falling apart. The hedge. The Fed prepares for a bank crisis while telling Americans the economy is strong. I've got to read this to you. If you get a chance, check out this article. I'll just read some of the highlights here. Federal regulators are preparing a proposal to force U.S. banks to utilize the Federal Reserve's discount window in preparation for future bank crisis. The aim is to remove the stigma around tapping into this financial lifeline. The new policy is reminiscent of the Fed's actions during the 2007, it says here, financial crisis. Financial authorities encouraged large banks to tap into the discount window, taking loans directly from the Federal Reserve to make it easier for distressed banks to do the same. By strong-arming healthy banks to comply, the Fed is escalating moral hazard and leaving customers vulnerable. They are deliberately trying to remove a signal of institutional risk. All this while the Fed and financial institutions out there are telling all of us how great the economy is, how strong the consumer is, yet behind the scenes, underneath the water, the iceberg is in shambles. It might look good from the outside, it might look good from the top, but underneath the water, ladies and gentlemen, it looks very, very spooky. And so many people, the masses, are so fooled because they just look at the outside. They look at a house and they go, oh, it looks so beautiful. I have FOMO. I'm going to buy it. But then they never do the home inspection, right? They don't go in. They don't look up in the attic. They don't look down in the basement. They don't look at the foundation. And all of a sudden they buy this house and they're stuck with a lemon. They pay too much for it, right? And they realize, wow, I should have done a little bit more homework. I should have been a little bit more patient. I shouldn't have bought into the FOMO, because this thing's infested with termites, the foundation is rotting, the utilities don't work, the pipes are rusted, and it goes on and on and on. And that's exactly what we're going to find out here in the banking system. The foundation, the structure is rotting. So it might look good from the outside, but be very, very careful, because when you step inside and look up close, it does not look too pretty. Here's one from CNBC. How interest rates have changed over the last 12 months for mortgages, car loans, credit cards, and more. In 2022, not that long ago, the average credit card rate, interest rate on a credit card was 16.34%. Today, it's around 23%. 2 years later, it is 23%. Average savings accounts in the last 12 months were paying 0.22%. Today, paying 0.52%. So you're earning absolutely no money. Isn't it amazing that you put your money in the bank, you cannot earn any money, but the banks will charge you 23% on a credit card, and you know, Lord have mercy on your soul if you're late. Used vehicles. You want to finance a used vehicle? In May, 7.4%. Today, it's 8.3%. Mortgage rates. October 2023, we're hovering around 8%. Today, I checked bankrate.com, 6.96%, very close to 7%. We'll see if the Fed continues to push that 10-year down. I don't see 30-year mortgage rates going back to 3% ever again. I think that you would be lucky to see 4.5%, 5%, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. And even if it does, most people are not going to be able to buy a home. Home prices are still overvalued, and people are losing jobs like we've never seen before. I mean, every day it is another mass layoff. So no job, no house. And as long as sellers want to keep prices on these homes elevated, be ready to not sell your home. Home sales have absolutely collapsed. And I love how they say, well, home prices just continue to go up. Isn't this incredible? The economy must be booming because home prices keep going up. Home prices keep going up based on absolutely hope. That's all it is. Home sellers hoping that they can cash in on a lottery ticket. And that is far and few between now. Homes are not selling like they were a year or 2 years ago, and they're not going to. So you can ask $1 million on a piece of garbage. Good luck. You're going to be on the MLS for a very, very long time. Ask whatever you want. Doesn't mean the economy is doing anything other than being overpriced. These homes are not selling, and less homes are going to sell because more and more people are losing jobs, or they're just making less in wages because of inflation. I will finish with this last one, a bit concerning, coming from the hedge. Struggling for recruits, U.S. Navy lowers education standard. So to get into the Navy now, that used to be kind of prestigious, right? If you got into the Navy, well, you don't need a diploma. You don't even need a GED. All you have to do is take a test, the Armed Forces Qualification Test, and score a 50. A 50. A 50. and you're in the Navy. So I can't even believe this stuff. So we're getting less qualified police officers, less qualified people in the military. It's unbelievable. It really is. If America wants to continue acting tough around the world, somebody's going to call our bluff. And I sure hope we don't get duped in to a major war here in the Middle East that we're already involved in, because we're not prepared for it. We are not. I mean, when you look at the physical condition, which they've also lowered, right? You can be in less physical condition now to get into the military, and less mental condition or less education now needed to get into the military. A score of 50 on that thing, no GED, no diploma, and score of 50 and you're in the military, in the Navy. So you need to be in less shape. You need to be less smart, and you can still get into the Navy. It's very, very shocking. So what does that say about us? As a country, that we're going to send more and more unqualified people into service, into the military. They will. What's scary is they have no idea what they're stepping into. If things start heating up over in the Middle East and we get more involved, you're sending people over there that are not qualified to be there. And what happens to those people? They will lose their lives. And this country is not going to be defended. And first off, we shouldn't even be over there. But we are beginning to run thin on qualified people. The economy continues to collapse. The debts and deficits continue to explode. You know, the three people that will probably write me and tell me that the economy is booming and that I don't know what I'm talking about. There's no way an economy can be booming when you have over $34 trillion of debt and your deficits are screaming, when you're paying nearly $1 trillion on interest on that debt, and you're running $1 trillion deficit on top of it, and you're spending almost $900 billion on your military. You have no idea what you're talking about. You just continue to contradict yourself. We've never seen a housing market this slow. It's collapsed. We've never seen a collapse in commercial real estate like the one we're watching right now. And again, you have people at a record number going homeless, 43 million people living in poverty in this country. Half this country is getting some sort of government subsidy, and you have debts and deficits absolutely exploding. And they already told you that Social Security is going to run out by 2034, and you think the economy is booming? We're not even making anything here. These people that go, we're in a manufacturing boom. Really? Where? What are we manufacturing? Please comment down below and tell me where the economy is booming. If you comment and tell all of us that the economy is booming, please point out a few reasons. Give us some facts, some data, and change our mind where the economy is booming, because I don't see it happening. I just see more people getting laid off. I'm going to leave it there today. I don't want to rant. 82 degrees today in January, beautiful day. I'm blessed. I know many of you are blessed. If you're watching this video today, you're watching it on a phone, a computer. You probably ate today. You're probably able to drink water. You might even have a job. So you're walking, you're talking, and you're absorbing knowledge, and you're aware of what's happening. So you are very, very blessed. And make sure you give God all thanks and glory for being blessed. Doesn't matter what your zip code is, how big your house is, how little your house is. You're sleeping in a garage, sleeping on a couch, sleeping in a mansion. It doesn't matter. You're blessed. So let's all thank God tonight for being blessed, no matter what we have. And look, if people are doing great, God bless. God bless if you're doing great and you're making lots of money, you're driving nice cars. I mean, that is the dream right there. But make sure you're also giving back a little bit. Make sure that you're helping out the animals, making sure you're helping out the homeless, and you will be blessed back. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. As always, I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you.